there's been a schedule leak, and it wasn't Woj or Shams dropping that. That was James Harden who dropped this bombshell, a schedule leak.
So Harden bomb.
Yeah, Harden bomb. Harden indicated the Sixers will have a Christmas Day game against the New York Knicks this coming year. And as fans, we love watching, unwrapping gifts and watching basketball, having it on in the background. But as a player, Eric, how do you feel playing on a holiday?
Home games are awesome. Road games are overrated.
Playing on a holiday?
Yeah, road games are overrated.
Because you can't just go home and be with your family afterwards. You got to travel.
Yeah, and really, look, when I was with the Sixers, Disney on Ice took over, so we were gone every Christmas. So I never played a home game on Christmas until I played for the Cavaliers, and we never did it because we were always on the road for Christmas. So it's to me, it's overrated if you're on the road. Christmas dinner with your family, waking up. But if you're a home game, I mean, you can still wake up and the kids can have like you still got a somewhat of a normal Christmas day. Whereas on the road, you don't. So I mean, to me, I think playing on the road is overrated. Like I said, home game is awesome. You instead of watching games, you do everything you do in the morning, same routine, and you get up and play a game, and you can still watch games around it.
Mm.
Would you rather have the early game or late game on a holiday?
Afternoon.
Afternoon?
Yeah, mid-afternoon, early game. I've played at noon. I've played a little later. They were saying.
I guess playing in New York
different with basketball because you don't have to be there technically as early, maybe as you do in football and some other stuff like that.
Mm.
So if you play a noon game and you technically can still get up early and have a Christmas morning with your children. I mean, you still can do that. You still have a lot of time and still be in your normal routine. But I liked to kind of get the day over and come back and have a dinner, Christmas dinner. But I know some guys, liked it at night because you have like the whole day, then you go play the game at night. So I can see where guys could say that too. I just prefer earlier games, but I always prefer earlier games on weekends. Over,
I guess
later
the New
games.
York
like in
Philly
college,
one,
but like I was in college, the best game to play in college was like a 2:00 game. But the best game on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You could wake up, have a normal morning, and have a normal night too.
Have a night to yourself, and then you usually get Sunday off, so you really got like a day and a half off.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you travel for a Christmas basketball game, you probably are not playing on the 26th, right?
We did before, I believe so.
Oh man, that's brutal.
I think we were in LA. If we can look it up, not the year after we went to the finals. I believe we played the Lakers and then the Clippers the next day.
Oh man, yeah. Wow.
If it wasn't the next day, I believe it was 2 days later. But I know it was on the same trip. But I believe it was the next day. I'm not certain. I think nowadays they don't have you do that. But when I play, yeah, they would have done that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they didn't care.
Scheduling was so much tighter.
Yeah, complaints didn't matter back then.
I
guess the New York
for 2002 was that December 2002 or was that 03?
It would have been 01, 02.
01, 02, okay.
So it was still December of 2001.
Okay. Just looking that up real quickly. So
I guess
yeah. It looks here that on the 24th at LA, 25th at the Clippers. Yeah, so Lakers, Clippers, 24th, 25th. And then you had 2 days off, and then you played the Nuggets on the 27th.
Yeah. So I thought it was back-to-back.
Yeah, man. Oof.
Yeah. Not only did they give us a Christmas game in LA, they gave us a game the next day.
Man.
I guess with Boston and not Boston, I guess New York and Philly, though, you do play the early game at noon. I mean, you could get back to Philly pretty quickly.
I mean, the New York game is actually not a bad game for Christmas Day because it's New York City, and that game is always incredible. Even whenever you play in New York City is an awesome experience. On the Christmas day, then you can take the train back and be back, much faster than going through the whole flying back and all of that. So even though you didn't wake up at home, you can still get back at home at a reasonable time to have somewhat of a day. At least a Christmas dinner or something. Maybe open presents a little later. Like you're still getting back where you can do some of the things that you do, whatever you do in your family at home. So that's not a bad trip. Even maybe Boston's maybe not even a bad trip. Somewhere close like that, or
Northeast, pretty good.
Yeah, those aren't bad trips from Philly standpoint.
What about how are Thanksgivings for you? If on days you have a Thanksgiving away is probably rough, right? The away Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of them, but we didn't really play on Thanksgivings. But I had a lot of games the day after Thanksgiving. Because we were usually gone for Christmas, we weren't usually gone for the whole Thanksgiving break. We were probably going the day before or the day after. If we played the day after, we would usually leave a little later. So you may leave. We would usually leave around 2 or 3 o'clock, somewhere around there. We would fly out. And on that particular day, you would just leave later, probably 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock, depending on where you were going. And at that time, it was usually not a West Coast trip, so it was somewhere within a couple hours.
That's not bad.
So you just left a little later on that Thanksgiving day.
Yeah. Traveling during the holidays, man.
Yeah. Well, as a fan, I'm really going to enjoy it.
Yeah. It's always good to have it on the background, open up the gifts or cleaning up, during the cleanup portion of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm more excited about that Christmas game or the other league, the opener against Boston.
Yeah.
Both going to be really, really fun.
That's at Boston, right?
I don't know where it's at.
It'll be they'll have Boston play. They won't have Boston play on the road.
Yeah. So I can't remember the last time we had the opener on the opening night. It's been a long time. I can't even remember.
Feels like it, at least.
Yeah, because it's usually Boston gets that game a lot. Whether it's back in the day when Cavaliers or the Heat were playing, they would get they would play against whoever was.
But they used to play. They used to have a lot more games that day. Now it's just those 2 games.
Yeah.
It was opening day, and then you had a lot of games. It was just which games were on television.
Right, the TNT.
But now it's just those 2 games.
Yeah. That'll be fun. I'm glad that the networks are giving us more airtime and giving us more games. I love those 2 right there. That's amazing.
Yeah, good.
That means I think we're going to be good.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. Not so much a league pass reliant this year.